Welcome to the deep dive. We got some really interesting material this time, all kind of centered on, well, how we think about the stuff we use. So today, we're diving into the circular economy. Now, I know circular economy can sound a bit like jargon, can't it?
It can, yeah. A bit buzzy.
But what it actually means is really important for building a more sustainable future, a better one, frankly.
Exactly. It boils down to rethinking a system we've had for generations, the standard model. Take resources, make something, use it, throw it away.
Right, the old linear way. Take, make, dispose.
That's the one. And it's becoming really clear that it's, well, kind of a dead end.
Definitely. I mean, it fueled a lot of growth, no doubt. But your sources pointed out the obvious problem. Finite resources. And the sheer scale. Global material use tripled in just 50 years. That's huge pressure.
It's staggering. And there's a stat from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation that really brings it home. They reckon only about 8.6% of the global economy is circular right now.
Only 8.6%.
Wow. Yeah. So flip that around over 90% what we pull out of the ground and make.
Yeah.
It just becomes waste after we use it once.
That's incredibly inefficient. All that effort, all those resources.
Precisely, all that embedded value just gone. It really highlights why we need a different way.
Which brings us back to the circular economy. So instead of that straight line to the landfill,
Yeah,
it's a loop.
exactly. Think of it as a loop. It starts right at the beginning. With design, products are actually designed to last longer in the first place.
Okay, so designing for durability, not planning for things to break.
Right. Moving away from that throwaway culture. Build things to last.
Makes sense?
Yep.
But things do eventually wear out, or we need something new. What happens then in this loop?
That's where the other R's come in. Reuse, repair, refurbishment. Repurposing, keeping those materials and products in circulation for as long as possible at their highest value.
So, waste becomes a last resort, not the default.
Ideally, yes. Minimizing waste is key. And it goes even deeper than just managing materials.
How so?
Well, a really core part of it is about working with nature, not against it. So less digging up new stuff, less pollution, and even finding ways to, actively regenerate natural systems.
Regenerate, so giving back.
Yeah, moving beyond just sustainable towards actually making things better. Recognizing our economy exists within the environment.
And looking through the material, it struck me how wide-ranging this is. It's not just for, say, packaging or something.
Oh, absolutely not. It applies everywhere. Think fashion designing clothes to last, better recycling for textiles,
Okay.
or architecture, modular buildings, reusing components instead of demolishing.
Technology, too, I imagine.
Definitely. Technology, city planning, even things like running events. The circular lens offers a new way to approach almost anything.
It really forces you to ask different questions, doesn't it? Like, how do you design for that kind of longevity from the very start?
That's a huge shift.
Yeah.
It means thinking about the entire product journey. How it's made, sure, but also how it's used, maintained.
How it can be fixed.
Exactly. And crucially, what happens at the end of its life? Can it be easily taken apart? Can the materials be recovered properly?
And actually keeping that value circulating. That sounds like a big logistical challenge. It's more than just putting something in the blue bin.
Oh, much more. You need systems, repair networks, places for refurbishment, advanced recycling that actually recovers high-quality materials, not just downcycling them. It's about actively managing those flows.
Right. And underpinning all of this is that idea of working with nature, being regenerative.
That's the ultimate aim, yes. Building an economy that doesn't just deplete resources but operates within planetary boundaries and, ideally, helps ecosystems thrive.
Okay, so we've got the theory down. Let's look at this example you shared. Longevity District in Miami, at Miami Ironside. It's called a living case study. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's a great example of adaptive reuse, which is a core circular principle. Instead of tearing down old warehouses and industrial buildings, they've repurposed them, kept the structures, but given them a new life.
So saving all that embodied energy in the original buildings, avoiding new construction materials.
Exactly. You keep the bones, the history, the architectural integrity, but you adapt it for new uses, creative studios, design shops, cultural spaces. It shows you can revitalize areas without starting from zero.
That makes a lot of sense. And it's not just the buildings themselves, right? The people in the district are part of this too.
Yes, absolutely. That's what makes it living. The tenants are actively putting circular ideas into practice.
Like what? What kind of things are they doing?
Well, you've got fashion designers, for instance, who are taking textile waste, offcuts, maybe old garments, and designing really high-end new pieces from them.
Okay, upcycling in fashion.
Exactly. Then there are makers exploring biomaterials, alternatives to plastics derived from, algae or fungi or agricultural waste.
Wow, okay. Very cutting edge.
Yeah, trying to find sustainable material solutions. And artists using reclaimed stuff, wood, glass, metal, turning discarded items into art. It's a whole ecosystem.
So it's a community actively experimenting with these principles. And I read this applies even to how they run events.
It does. They try to walk the talk. So for events, they'll focus on using decor that's rented or repurposed, things that can be used again and again.
Right.
And they partner with caterers and hospitality folks who are committed to zero waste composting food scraps, using reusable plates and cutlery, minimizing packaging, trying to make events less wasteful.
That's great. And there's another layer too. The Longevity District is the Miami base for the Circular Economy Club, the CEC. Tell us a bit about the CEC. What is it?
So the CEC is basically a huge global network. It's got thousands of members, professionals, students, businesses, policymakers, all pushing to make the circular economy the norm. It's very grassroots, but global in scope.
So having their Miami hub right there creates a sort of focal point.
Exactly. It acts as a connector. And through that partnership, they do a lot of cool things. Workshops on circular design for products or buildings, for example. Practical skills. They bring in thought leaders for talks and panels on sustainability, sharing different perspectives. And they host meetups, bringing together local startups, creatives, researchers, anyone working on circular solutions in the area.
It sounds like they're really trying to connect that big global idea of circularity with what people can actually do locally in Miami.
That's precisely the goal. Taking the global knowledge and momentum and grounding it in local action, local projects, local connections, making it real for that community.
It really drives home that this isn't something one company or one person can do alone.
Not at all. It has to be collaborative. You need businesses, designers, policymakers, educators, citizens, all working together, sharing ideas, solving problems. It takes that collective effort.
Okay, so listeners hearing this, they might be thinking, right, this sounds good, important even. But what can I actually do? Where do I start? It can feel a bit overwhelming.
It definitely can seem that way. But there are practical steps. A really good first stop is the Circular Economy Club website, circulareconomyclub.com. Tons of resources there, articles, case studies, tools, plus info on events, both online and maybe local chapters near you.
Okay, so checking out the CEC website is step one. What else?
Well, if you're near Miami or interested in that specific example, you could explore the Longevity District, see if there are events or maybe even opportunities for collaboration if you're in a relevant field. Reaching out to hubs like that can be insightful.
Makes sense. And just in our everyday lives, what about the choices we make?
That's probably the most accessible starting point for everyone. Begin asking yourself circular questions.
Circular questions like what?
Like before buying something new, do I really need this? Is there a used option? Can I borrow or rent it instead? When something breaks, can I get this repaired? Is it designed to be repaired?
Right, challenging that throwaway instinct.
Exactly. And consciously choosing to support businesses that are trying to be more sustainable, more circular, looking for transparency, voting with your wallet, so to speak.
Those small questions, those small shifts, they add up, don't they, if enough people start asking them?
They absolutely do. They create demand. They signal to businesses what consumers value. It's a gradual process, but individual choices matter in shaping the bigger system.
It really reinforces that idea you mentioned earlier. The future isn't just something that watches over us. We're actually designing it.
We are. The future is designed, not just inherited. And the circular economy gives us like a blueprint for designing one that works better for people and the planet. A future that lasts.
This has been incredibly insightful. Thank you for walking us through all of this.
My pleasure. It's a vital conversation to be having. I hope it gives you, the listener, some food for thought.
Absolutely. We hope you'll think about how these ideas might apply in your own context, your job, your community, even just your home.
And maybe as a final takeaway thought, just pick one thing you usually throw away without much thought. Could be anything, coffee cups, old clothes, food packaging. Just take a minute and brainstorm. Is there any other way? A more circular path for that one item. Sometimes starting small with one thing is the best way to begin.